Unseen, My Journey by Reggie Yates. Read by, well, me, Reggie Yates. Hiya. For Anna's share, thank you. Introduction. 8 a.m., summer, 1992. The dull hum of cheap strip lights owning the silence struck fear into my pounding 9-year-old heart. An offensively floral-scented makeup artist edged closer. Between her colossal barnet and cherry-red lipstick peeped a pair of piercing blue eyes that still haunt me to this day. Her brush powdered with brown makeup, a whole 2 shades too dark, finally connected with my face. Suddenly, and officially, there was no turning back. This was it. The minute Kieran Buckley and Aaron Byrne found out, I wouldn't be able to show my face on a football pitch ever again. The minute Uncle George, who took huge pleasure in referring to me as a thespian, found out, I'd never live it down. For the first time in my life, I was wearing makeup. I was officially a working actor. When you think child actor, the first thing that comes to mind is a prepubescent millionaire divorcing their parents before riding the cocaine train to bankruptcy. For me, being a child actor was a social education. The people and challenges I experienced have helped to shape my career and to make me the man I am today. Growing up in North London, I was consistently faced with the realities of class and wealth. Sandwiched between tourist-heavy, upwardly mobile Camden and rough-around-the-edges Hackney, Islington was the London borough I called home. My mother always joked about the people living behind the huge panelled doors of perfect million-pound properties on our road. She'd laugh because they had no choice but to walk past our dirty council estate. Weirdly, for some reason, I was never embarrassed or ashamed by the block. As young as 5 while walking to school, I remember being fascinated by the people and stories that existed as close as a few hundred yards from my own front door. Even at that age, I was aware that though they lived close by, they existed in an entirely different world. Different is good, and authenticity is invaluable. After escaping the unavoidable cloud of floral perfume during my first makeup chair experience, I found myself in the costume truck, staring in awe at established cast members, floating in and out, howling with laughter while throwing around dirty West Indian jokes. This was my bizarre but brilliant introduction to the world of TV. I found myself sharing screen time with fictional characters my family had loved from the minute they burst onto British TV. My first TV gig was to play a tiny role on Channel 4's longest-running sitcom at the time, Desmond's. Desmond's was special. A sitcom about a black family who ran a successful business in Peckham, South East London, began its 71-episode run in 1989. It wasn't just special for me as a new actor and fan of the show. It was unique in TV, full stop. The fact the show even existed was beyond a triumph. It was a miracle. This was the only long-running series on primetime British TV with a cast made up almost exclusively of West Indian and African performers. The show was inclusive and at its core about family. More importantly, it was positive. Any feelings of intimidation or nerves were quashed as I realized I was surrounded by men and women who looked and sounded like my family and the people I grew up around. Who they were off camera served as a huge driver for their on-screen personas, and what made them unique as people bolstered the show with a legitimacy and a point of difference that was not only refreshing, but authentic. Now at this point, we're talking about me being a natty-haired, big-toothed newbie child actor who wasn't even in double figures yet. My mother had handcrafted my haircut with a pair of safety scissors, complete with orange handles, and I'd probably eaten my body weight in makeup truck sherbet lemons. Age, bad haircut, and sugar high aside, I quickly learned a valuable lesson. Desmond's resonated with all audiences, not just because it was entertaining, but also because it was different. The black South East London take on family life was a huge hit with mainstream audiences, as it offered a voice unheard on a platform of that scale. From the Calypso theme tune to the West Indian banter, and not forgetting those old African sayings, new eyes and ears were won over as the show delivered an exciting and fresh world for the majority. Desmond's was different, and for my perceptive younger self, the penny dropped. Different is good, and authenticity is invaluable. Television was never something I pined over. In fact, performing wasn't something I'd realized I was drawn to. Keeping myself entertained was always the motivation for my moments of showing off for my friends, mum, or anyone that would pay attention. If it wasn't me filling the silence, it was
Sample complete. Ready to continue?